The sustainer of heavenly principles stopped the twins from leaving Teyvat. Ever since the start of the game we've been hearing about heavenly principles, but what even are these heavenly principles? Let's discuss a theory. Originally Teyvat was ruled by dragons and other elemental beings. Then the Primordial One appeared to do battle against the 7 sovereigns, and probably it alone wasn't enough to defeat 7 dragon sovereigns. It created 4 shining shades of itself. After 40 years, the Primordial One emerged victorious over the 7 sovereigns and set about creating the heavens and earth for the sake of humanity. Humans were finally created 400 years after the Primordial One's appearance and an unknown amount of time after the creation of humanity. The second who came, the second throne of the heavens appeared and restarted the war. The heavens and earth were torn apart, and during this period of strife, Enkanomia dropped into the watery abyss. Now during this time Primordial One and the one who came after created the Gnosis. We know the Gnosis are the remains of the third descender. Furthermore, the usurper and the one who came after worked together to create the Gnosis in order to exert control over the world. So it could mean that there was a threat so great that both had to work together to suppress it. In the past, Dragon King Nibelung acquired the forbidden knowledge from outside this world to fight the Primordial One. This war caused immense destruction on an unprecedented scale and led the world to the brink of collapse. The third descender too probably brought abyssal powers or forbidden knowledge from the outside world. As the abyss immediately started destroying the world and any form of life it had, the two might have teamed up to defeat the third. After these series of events, Primordial One is left in a weakened state and the abyss has been unleashed on the world. This is probably when the Primordial One and the second decided that there is only one way to completely shut out the abyss. Then they established a pact called the Heavenly Principles and tried to erase every pre-war knowledge. We don't know the exact terms of the Heavenly Principles, but the goals of these are probably to keep out forbidden knowledge and suppress large-scale abyssal uprisings. It also means humanity shouldn't become too curious and know the pre-war history and the truth of Teyvat, as it can bring forbidden knowledge or the abyss into the world. One of these two acted as the sustainer of heavenly principles, but we don't have enough evidence to confirm which one. The Primordial One and the second worked together, but Primordial One wasn't able to wield his sovereign powers, and the second one didn't have the ability to create shades or something similar. So they implemented a new system that was similar to the shades, to help keep and enable the newly found heavenly principles, the Archons. They needed enforcers of their will and order. So they split the sovereign powers and held the equivalent of a contest in the form of a war where the strongest god of which resonated with the primordial elements would rise to Celestia, and become the acting ruler and safeguarder of humanity. 7 such Archons were chosen to rule 7 nations of Teyvat. From there the Sustainer split the third into Gnosis and infused these into the Archons. Their role was to protect their territory from the abyss and to make sure no one tries to know too much about the world. From there the power trickles down even further as the Archons' thrones seem to have built-in systems to share even their power further with the most ambitious of humanity. As those whose ambition and drive can reach the gods would most likely be great allies or assurances against the abyss itself, so they grant them visions that not only protect them but also act as literal eyes for the gods if they ever come into contact with the abyss, as the elemental affinity of the vision is antithetical to the abyss itself. Could it be that Celestia is not the evil entity we thought it to be? And is just scared of the abyss and doing everything to protect the world and humanity from the abyssal corruption, even if it means sacrificing a few of them? Comment below what you think.